Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Crypto Insider channel. I am the Crypto Insider, back with another cryptocurrency video for you today, which is April 15th, 2020. This is stimulus check week here in the U.S., and we'll talk about that in a little bit as it pertains to inflation. We have a story regarding that. We're changing things up here at the channel, so it's an interesting time. YouTube sent me a message saying I should launch membership, so we're going to do that. But keep in mind, you don't really have to be a member to enjoy the content here at the Crypto Insider channel. We're going to keep putting out our videos in the same way as we always have been, so there should be no change there. Let's get into some of the price action today. That's where we like to start our videos. We are at a little bit down from yesterday, 64.58% Bitcoin dominance, but still that's a normal number. That's within our normal range and really isn't that noteworthy. We don't really have any major gainers in the top 10. Everything's shrunk back a little bit. The traditional market also contracting. I believe the Dow's down something like 650 points today. Everything follows Bitcoin. There is a story that Bitcoin and XRP both have formed a diamond pattern. Normally in the charts, what that means is it will break dramatically in either direction. So we we could see a rally, we could see a dip. I'm sorry, that's very sort of nebulous information and doesn't tell you a whole lot. But it usually indicates the break of a trend one way or the other. So it'll be interesting to see which way we end up going. I really, until you get down, we're just looking at to this coin, Leo. We're at 0.61% for the 24 hours there. So really none of our positions have made any sort of gains over the last day. H bar sort of even for over the past hour. But everything is down today, so it's one of those red days that we've gotten used to with this coronavirus thing. But it can change dramatically, and even sometimes I'll come in to do a video and I'll see all these red numbers in Coinalyze and Live Coin Watch, and by the time I get the video edited and uploaded and published, all that information has changed. So it can change very quickly within an hour. I keep checking the prices throughout the day, trying to keep my eye on the movements. We're going to jump into the stories here. This one from Yahoo Finance, Bradley Kuhn and Omkar Godbola. I like the way they did this article, and I like the way that they, explain some of the concepts in here. So we're going to go through it. And the first bit of it says, is physical gold leaving digital behind? And yes, it is. Gold is up 14% in 2020, a superlative performance in what has been an annus horribilis for many traditional market stock oil in industrial metals like copper and aluminum. And what about Bitcoin? Seen by many investors as a digital form of gold due to its perceived use as a hedge against deflation. It's down 4.1% on the year. Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff happening in the next month, especially with the halving happening on May 12th or May 13th. It's just going to depend. And I expect that we could see some price action from that. Now, gold is traditionally a very good asset in a recession. At least it has been since it was first mined in ancient Sumeria, as the article says. And recessions are often deflationary. Lower demand alleviates upward price pressure on products and services. And we're seeing that with oil, right? Not only is there an oil glut from a production standpoint, there's also less usage. So there's more of it, and the prices are sinking. While surging unemployment makes it harder for workers to demand wage increases. Deutsche Bank says a U.S. government report on Thursday might reveal another 8 million jobless claims filed last week, bringing the 4-week total to 25 million, at least 10 times worse than any prior comparable period in the past half century. The unemployment rate would rise to 17% from 3.5% as recently as February. And to keep Federal Reserve officials appeared determined to keep inflation at bay. The central bank targets annual price rises of 2%. And Vice Chair Richard Clarida told Bloomberg Television that monetary authorities have the tools to keep economy out of deflation. More money injections are likely. Last week, the Fed's balance sheet ballooned past 6 trillion for the first time in its history, 107-year history. So why isn't Bitcoin seeing that uplift that gold is? Um, and I don't know if I agree with this statement. One possible reason, according to Jeff Dorman, chief investment officer at cryptocurrency focused firm Arca Funds, is the physical metal is so much easier to buy. And yeah, I guess if you're an older person maybe that's not in tune with crypto market and you don't do a lot of stuff on the net, you can go down to your local coin shop and pick up some gold. There's also some gold back funds and mutual funds, I believe, that you could sort of buy electronic gold. That's especially true for traditional investors who have long-term gold to gold as a safe haven during times of economic and market turmoil. But depending on how far, all right, let's read this next statement before I start giving my 2 cents on it. Gold can easily be purchased from the same brokerage accounts as stocks and bonds, whereas Bitcoin cannot be yet. Dorman told CoinDesk in an email, anyone who sold equities or debt and is sitting in cash needs to put that money to work, and it's easier to purchase than Bitcoin. It's as plausible as explanation as any, given that Bitcoin was just launched 11 years ago, while gold has served as a symbol of riches since the Sumerians civilized Mesopotamia. Now, a couple of things here. This only holds for so long. Gold is nice and it has the traditional value. That's why we call things the gold standards of this or that. It's just been a very safe asset to have always had. The thing is, as society breaks down so far, or as the economies crack so far, uh, gold can even become worthless. Meaning, it, if all the utilities are out and nobody's working and you're trying to avoid looters and it looks like the Walking Dead outside, at that point, gold isn't really worth anything. You wouldn't want to be carrying around gold at that point. Water and canned goods now become the new currency, right? So, inflation is also a concern as the Fed does pump all the stimulus money out into the market, and they're doing that specifically to avoid the deflationary effects that a recession has. Um, and and if we do get into a situation where we see something like runaway inflation, where your dollar isn't worth anything, if you have $1, you may as well have a million. Then crypto could actually turn around and then become more interesting because crypto is something that can't be manipulated by a central authority. And when we talk about decentralized currencies, that is that's one of the selling points, right? Nobody can go in on a computer and just create another billion XRP or 100 billion XRP. What's there is there, and it's deflationary, and it's easily tradable even. So gold might be easier to acquire for some people, but it's harder to trade. You're not going to be able to go down to Dollar General and pay at the checkout counter with gold. It's, it's not a thing. Whereas, if we had to do it, we could make widespread adoption of cryptocurrency a thing. There are a lot of businesses that already take it. We covered in a story last week some of the different online merchants and platforms. Overstock, I think, was on there, and Microsoft was on there. Some taking Bitcoin, some taking additional cryptocurrencies than Bitcoin. But and it's also going to get more easier. One of the reasons why I picked this story is it's going to get more easier to get crypto in investment type funds. So, if you don't want to buy physical gold, you can buy some of the electronic gold funds that I was talking about. Uh, but the same thing is going to end up happening with cryptocurrency. And that takes us to our next story from the Daily Hodl. Venture giant Andreessen Horowitz aims to launch 450 million bet on crypto industry report. So the venture capital firm is reportedly gearing up to increase its bets on blockchain and cryptocurrency. The California-based company is looking to raise at least 450 million for its second crypto investment fund. Two people briefed on the company's plans say details will be finalized as early as next week, and there is no hard cap on how large the fund will be when it launches. Um, Andreessen raised 300 million for its first crypto fund, which launched in 2018. The firm began focusing on the crypto industry back in 2013 and has since invested in a long list of companies, including Coinbase, Celo, Definity Trust Token, Filecoin, Maker, Celo, and Arweave. It's also a founding member of the Facebook Libra Foundation. So I don't know if they're going to uh, they don't put enough information in this article. I'd like to see more information about the fund. It looks like they're trying to include some companies in it, uh, and it's invested in a lot of cryptocurrency companies and exchanges. I want to see how much crypto they're custodying, if any, and if they plan to do that. That's going to be the interesting thing because then gold doesn't have it over crypto in that sort of electronic way that you can own it easily. Um, it's going to be a very interesting time, especially as we see that fight. Who wins out? The inflate does the deflation win out and prices of everything go to nothing, or is the Fed going to be able to keep pumping money into the market? You can only do that, in my opinion, that quantitative easing, that stimulus of people. While it's nice and it's going to help people pay their bills for a little while, um, it then becomes inflationary. So again, if the Fed sent out, I think, $1,200 to most people, 600 to some. Some people didn't get any that made too much. But if the Fed says, well, we're going to make everyone in the country millionaires, and we're going to send out $10 million to everybody, that's very inflationary because all the companies out there know that you have $10 million. So once you get all your things paid off that you're contractually obligated to do, your house and your car, your credit cards, whatever else you have, and you go to buy something, when you go to buy something new, your gallon of milk is going to be $675 because they know that everybody has all this money. And they can't get people to work for them without paying them more money than the Fed's giving you, the 10 million. So it becomes a sort of a self-fulfilling cycle, and the Fed is constantly tinkering and trying to play with that. It's really an unprecedented time uh, in finance and in crypto because I think crypto is going to be more utilitarian than gold. And they say that it's hard to buy for some people, but really it's not that true. Once you hook up your bank account to whatever exchange app that you're using, you can buy all the crypto you want all day up to whatever your limits are. So we're gonna see that narrative change, I think, as people become more familiar with crypto. Um, our Crypto Hopper dashboard. Somebody asked in a comment, can we look at the Crypto Hopper dashboard again? So yes, we can. We are an affiliate of Crypto Hopper, and if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my old Crypto Hopper video, we set one up. We're just playing with it. Crypto Hopper is a trading bot that tries to make you the most money on an exchange. I'd recommend, if you want to see more on how to set it up and more about the features, to go to the older video in my feed. Uh, but right now, my total Bitcoin returns are 6.72%. Now, I think it was Mark that asked to see this video. Mark, I reset this at the beginning of every month. So this is since April 1st. Um, and if you, most positions are in the red right now because the market's taken a downturn. But I have made some profit sales. I think some were made this morning here. I did some manually. I manually sold some of this Atom because I I it had too much money, in my opinion, tied up in the Atom position for too long, too many days. So I was like, I'll just sell it and take whatever the loss is on these positions to get the money used to start buying this other stuff that made profit. But Crypto Hopper, you can set up strategies so that it'll go out and do all this trading for you on in the background while you're sleeping. So it's interesting. It makes a lot of money when the market's going up, but for a long period in March, I had a stagnant. Um, it was just stagnant. It wasn't selling. It was just staying in positions. You can see it's been in this XRP position for 18 days. It's been in this rep position for 33 days just because it can't sell at this volume. This cost is too low. This cost is in Bitcoin. I'm using the Bitcoin pair. Um, so, no great um, profits or anything that I've made on this over the past since April 1st, but we'll keep at it, and I think if the market does turn around, we'll see a lot more sells and a lot more profit. You really don't make any profit until you sell. That is the name of the game. So I also wanted to check into and just remind everyone, if you want to see that utility is increasing, you can check the liquidity index bot. Um, if you subscribe to the liquidity index bot, it will show you the different ODL exchanges for XRP and show you, the volumes. And here's where we are now. Here's where we start. I guess here's where we started back in October of 2019. So, we're what, 6 months later, almost 7 months later, and that's amazing. So, if you're one of these folks that believes that utility is going to drive price, adoption is going to drive price, and I think we need a lot more usage than this, but if you believe that, this is a very good trend to have. It's almost straight up. I look forward to seeing what Ripple rolls out the rest of the year. Some of this volume is probably that the trading volume's the same. It's just the price has decreased, so it takes more XRP to do the same amount of transfers you used to do. So that could account for some of this trend line, but it doesn't account for all of it. I guarantee you that. All right, and as our new video format, I will say that we have donated 3 XRP to Good XRP for the new subscribers we got since yesterday. Anytime you subscribe to the page, we send out a small donation to Good XRP. and they break it down, send it off to those 9 different charity groups there that you see. They're all great places, and we're going to send more to charity. Like I said, we're enabling memberships on our channel, and that includes more donations to Good XRP that I'm planning to make as part of the perks. But again, don't look through the perks. There'll be a video that accompanies it, and if you decide that membership is something for you, we would greatly appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. Again, no content is ever going to be paid content. Well, no cryptocurrency content. Otherwise, members might get to see weird pictures of the dog or my house or random pictures I've taken in Texas or my recipe for homemade bread, or it could be anything. You could see, my spider vehicle or a feed from that, or just weird different things in the membership, as well as your normal custom emojis and that sort of thing. But we're not going to become millionaires off it, and we don't expect to. We're still going to continue putting out our videos as normal. Here I am rambling on towards the end of the video. The music's playing. It's time to go. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We will be back, I'm hoping, tomorrow.